Today's lesson is still 12.3, subtracting rational numbers, but instead of doing decimals today, you're going to do fractions. And so again, we're going to continue following the rules for subtracting with integers, so you still want to keep change flip, but I'm not going to show you again like I did in the beginning of yesterday's video. If you need to go back and look. But we're following those same rules. So here's example A. Let's say you have a mixed number like -4 1/7 minus -6/7. So your step one, you always want to keep change flip when you're subtracting. So I'll change my color. Here we go. Keep. Oops, that should be a 7. There we go. Change to addition. Flip to be a positive number this time, to flip to be the opposite sign, so it's a positive 6/7. And then you're going to follow your rules for adding with fractions and mixed numbers. In this case, I think I'm going to make my mixed numbers improper. It's a good habit to get into, mixed to improper. The next lesson would have been, in the textbook, would have been multiplying and dividing with fractions and mixed numbers, or with rational numbers with negatives, and you have to make your mixed numbers improper in order to get the right answer. So it's a good habit to get into. So we're multiplying, then adding here. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 1 is 29, so this becomes -29/7 plus 6/7. I kind of like switching my color after every other, makes it a little bit easier to see. So your third step would be to find common denominators, but we already have that. You won't have that right away with all your problems today. Oops. But you do with this one, so I wrote it as a step. So when we're looking at this problem, now you just have to look at your numerators. It's like -29 plus 6. So when you have two different signs when you're adding, you actually subtract. So this becomes -23, and it's negative because you keep the sign of the larger absolute value, and your denominator stays a 7. You can either put your answer in like that, or 7 goes into 23 3 times. That's 21. So there's 2 left over. Or it could be -3 2/7. So either of these answers is correct. So I'm going to make step 4 add/subtract, depending on what rule you're following, the numerators. And then step 5 would be to simplify if you can. In this case, we just made our improper fraction into a mixed number, but either of those answers would have been correct. Let me do another one for you. Let's say we have two mixed numbers this time. We've got 4 1/2 minus 5 1/4. So first step, keep change flip. Change to addition, flip to be the opposite sign. This time this would be a -5 1/4. I'm going to make them improper now. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. This is 9/2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. All right, now this time I do need to find common denominators. It's fourths. So I'm going to multiply this fraction times 2 to make my denominator into a 4. So this becomes 18/4. And I finally have common denominators. What did I do here when I started changing the signs? Okay, here's what I need to do. See how this was a plus sign up here? I need to change this to a plus sign and this to a plus sign. Sorry, I lost it there. Because you just keep change flip the one time. So make sure you change that to a plus sign so that you have the problem written down correctly. And now you just look at your numerators since your denominators are the same. So if we've got 18 plus a -21, the signs are different, so you actually subtract. So 21 minus 18 is 3. So I've got a -3 because your -21 has a larger absolute value. and your denominator stays a 4. And that's as simplified as that's going to get. This is a proper fraction this time, so you can't make it into a mixed number. Let me label these steps again. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but if you got confused when I made my little mistake there, this might be a good thing to do. So this was step 1. It was the keep, change, flip. This was step 2, mixed to improper. This was step 3, kind of in here where I multiplied times 2. This was common denominators. And then 4, add / subtract numerators. And in this case, we were done, but if we had to simplify, step 5 could be to simplify. I hope this helps a little bit. Your assignment today, let's see, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you should be good. You have one problem. Here, I'll help you set this one up. Let me clear my page. So write this down so you've got it when you get to it. This is number 6. I don't want you to get confused. It starts out as -5 minus 5/3. So you definitely want to keep, change, flip as your first step. So keep, change, flip. And to make -5 into a fraction, this is what I want to show you. You just put a 1 under it. You know that. -5 over 1 is the same as -5. So your next step would be to find common denominators. I'll let you figure it out from there.